It's that time of the month again. Our monthly fire drill practice. Now, usually we would get an email in the morning giving us a chance to decide, are we going to prep our students and let them know a fire drill is coming, or are we going to let it be a surprise so that they can be ready for anything? But one beautiful sunny day, the usual fire drill notification didn't show up in our daily email because, well, it wasn't planned.
Whoops.
Grab a hot drink, maybe light a candle, and join us as we share how an unexpected twist turned an ordinary day into a funny, memorable one.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Teachers on the Loose, a podcast where we turn teacher tales into belly laughs and life lessons.
I'm Kelsey.
I'm Allison.
I'm Celeste.
And I'm Kristan. Today we will be sharing the story of the unplanned fire drill, brought to you by the first grade team.
Oh no. What did you all do now?
But before we get into all that, we want to say thank you so much to all of our listeners.
Yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. All 5 of our
All
listeners. Thanks, guys.
No, but we are enjoying this, and we do appreciate all of our listeners that are out there. And even though we're just sharing some crazy, fun ideas and enjoying our time together and sharing how we started that podcast last week, we just really appreciate you guys coming on this ride with us and enjoying the laughter and the fun that we share.
All right, so back to this week's episode of how we might have somehow got up to some unplanned mischief when, I don't know, maybe it was our fault that the fire alarm went off.
Oh, gosh. How did this all get started?
I mean, at lunchtime, of course, because that's where all of the great ideas happen. And we were talking about how the Dark, Dark Woods was coming up and how we wanted to make it bigger and better.
Wait, what's the Dark, Dark Woods?
Well, it is a book that we have, I don't know how long we've been reading it at our school. I don't even think it's part of our current reading curriculum anymore. But, you know, we love traditions, and it is a tradition from a long time ago. I think my son is 23. He did it when he was at that school,
No
our
way.
school.
Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
So I did look up the date when the book, The Dark, Dark Wood, was published. Can you guys guess when it was published?
64.
75.
70.
1980. You
Oh.
guys were kind of close.
Oh, 80.
So yeah, it is a very, very old, loved book that we have been continuing on at our school.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
so
so
that
let's explain to everybody what
Yeah.
do we do for the Dark, Dark Woods, Allison?
So when the Dark, Dark Woods rolls around, we usually have it be around Halloween,
Mhm.
and we want to turn a book into an experience for the kids. And so the Dark, Dark Woods is a very repetitive book. It doesn't have a lot of words in it, but it has a lot of great descriptive language.
So it's
It's-
easy for first graders to read.
It's very easy for first graders to read, and it's easy to make it come to life. So we continued the tradition by putting the Dark, Dark Woods back up every year. And what that means is we would put black paper on the wall, and we would decorate the hallway with fun Halloween type things like trees and pumpkins and bats. Sorry, Kristan.
Oh yeah,
Spiders. Sorry, Kristan. We know that these are your words that you do not like.
Worst nightmare come to
Spiders,
life.
bats. Sometimes some fun ghosts, or we would make it look like a spooky wooded area, and then they would go through there reading part of the book on
Little
words on the
cards
wall,
or
on
sentence strips,
sentence
yeah.
strips on the wall.
Yeah, they would carry flashlights so that they could
could
see
read them.
through the dark,
Mhm.
dark
And they would
woods.
go with like a volunteer through these. And then there would be a place where it would say, and up the dark, dark stairs. And then we had some stairs that the
Yeah.
OT would let us borrow so that they could replicate that. And then they go down through the rest of the book. And then they get to a room where it says, and in the dark, dark cupboard, there was a ghost. And it's a fun way to take that whole book and turn it into an experience, because they've read the book, they've written the book, they've illustrated the book, and now they get to walk through the book. And it's
Such
just
a fun time.
a fun time.
And so we're sitting around at lunch and we're like, okay, how do we make this better, right? Like, we've done this for so many years. We gotta one up our game a little bit and make it just a little bit better. And so
So you started a fire?
no. But one of our favorite humans was in lunch with us, suggested that, maybe we add in a fog machine this year. And we were like, heck yeah, let's do that. So guess what? The very next day, she came to school with a fog machine.
She delivered.
That's awesome.
She sure did.
I was on the first grade team, and we didn't even think of using a fog machine. We really were not, as crazy as you guys.
Crazy or just extra? I mean, you could just say extra. That's
definitely
okay.
extra.
Yeah.
Did you guys ask the admin if it was okay to use a fog machine?
Why would we ask
What's
for
the
permission?
saying?
Ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
Well, and we did make sure. We were like, well, we don't want to set off the smoke detectors or anything like that. So we were really thorough. We read the instructions on the box.
Clearly.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
we did.
okay.
We even tested it out.
We did.
Yeah, and everything was fine, right? It was fine
It was fine.
until it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
So there's like parent volunteers taking the kids through the groups of the dark wood, right? And then what happened?
Well, to set this up just a little bit more. So part of the fun of walking through the dark woods is the volunteers take a group of kids
Oh yeah.
and they leave them in a different classroom and they come back to the classroom where it started and they're like, you guys, have you seen the group of kids that I left with? Like, I can't find them anywhere. They're like, you lost them in the dark woods?
They
And
were
it-
scared.
We play it up and we make it so much fun. And so my class and Kristan's class was waiting to go in the dark wood, and the volunteers, they were into it.
Oh, yeah.
They were having so much fun with the kids, and we kind of gave them permission to use the fog machine at their will, right?
Well, yeah, we gave permission, but not instructions or
What
directions.
could go wrong with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Clearly.
fine.
Well, I remember I was still in your class, Celeste. Where were you? Where were you when this all went down?
I was in your class with the kids who had
Got
been
lost. Yeah.
but were safe with me.
Yes. So I had a group just leave your room, and they were in the dark woods. I had a few more students with me, and all of a sudden, I hear the evacuation drill go off. Mhm. I'm all, that's weird. We didn't get an email. And I poke my head outside of the hallway. I have the kids with me. Like, we're ready to go. And then I'm like, oh, it's really smoky.
The entire hallway was filled with fog smoke
Mhm.
that apparently was too much.
Yeah, Allison, you were in second grade.
Yes.
What did you see?
I've done the dark woods as a first grade teacher, but this particular year I was on the second grade team, and the hallway was smoky. It was, I mean, we would just say that like the visibility was not very far down the hallway.
Was it
half a
100%?
mile?
No, like a half a foot visibility.
We had to grab the children's hands because it was so smoky.
No, we
knocking.
went
hold on.
outside.
You
We
go
were
outside, people. I don't remember all the fire drills we've had. You don't
And
go
that-
in the building. You go out of the building.
That was what was really cool. So
Don't you check out the first. You don't check out where the smoke is coming from.
where's the fire?
You leave the building.
No,
immediately.
we left.
No,
We
we
left.
were really good.
We
We have
did.
practiced pretty much every month. And so we knew exactly what to do.
Mhm.
But I mean, of course, we were a little bit nervous because we had students all over the building. My class was with your class. Your class was with my class. We had parent volunteers.
Hey,
we didn't know.
emergencies don't wait for convenience. I'm just
No,
saying.
That's right.
No.
But the good news is we all made it out safely to the spot in the field where we were supposed to go. Everyone was accounted for. We were like, okay, phew, we'll just wait for the drill to be over. And then and then we heard the sirens.
Like
And we
the
were
real
like,
fire department.
Oh, why are the sirens coming? And yeah, so the fire department definitely showed up at the school that day.
Yeah. And we
So
were
the
pretty
fire
sure.
department actually came?
They did. They actually came. I don't know that they actually had to come into the building because by that point, admin realized the source of
Mhm.
the smoke and told them that it was okay and there was no alarm and
We're not really on fire.
we weren't. Not really.
I mean, it looked like we were on fire
So
with all the smoke.
What did admin do then?
Well, all I remember is our assistant principal confiscating the fog machine,
The contraband.
walking it down to the office, like the little fog machine is in trouble going to the principal's office.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't really remember, but we didn't get in trouble for the unplanned fire alarm and the fire department showing up and, the big disruption to our day. But I do recall a conversation with admin at the end of the day that basically said, yeah, don't ever bring the fog machine back to the building again. Like, that's a one and done.
Next time, ask for permission.
Nope. Next time, just don't bring it. It's a hard no.
So how did you up the dark woods the next year then if you couldn't do fog machine?
So that same favorite human also said, hey, I have black lights. And we're like, oh, why didn't you just say that from the beginning?
Could have used that information last year.
So she let us use the black lights instead. And the black lights were really, really cool. So, I mean, we look back and we laugh, right?
Yeah, it's all about making memories.
Yeah.
Definitely a memory. And I think we all have a shared love for making things fun for our students and ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have some fun when you're teaching.
Absolutely.
Allison, what's a memory you have of bringing some learning to life for students?
Ooh, that's a fun question. Because I think that that's the joy of teaching, right? Like being able to take something and make it bigger and have kids remember it for years to come. I think my favorite was when we were doing our animal unit in first grade. And yes, and we each took a section and we made like a zoo that the kids could go and like look at different exhibits. And
I remember that. I think I was underwater for that.
I was land mammals.
yeah.
I
And
did the bug unit when I taught first grade,
yeah, Kelsey, you had the bug unit. When I came back to first grade, I was in your classroom. So
Yeah.
I took the bug unit on as well.
Yeah.
And so I remember that year, my students were just really out of the box thinkers. And I was like, I'm running with this. And in the end, each group of bugs created some sort of experience for the other kids to come and learn from. So like there was a huge anthill that was like 5 feet tall. We used like a round table for the anthill base. And then they had like chairs in the inside. But they'd like cut holes in there and had like, this is where the food room is, and had little tunnels and stuff.
So
And
cool.
then there was like a room that like we put black paper up and you had to like go into this little area and they had Christmas lights in there blinking and it was for the lightning bugs. And we had
Didn't you have like a giant like moving insect?
Yes, it was a praying mantis. Yeah. And one of my students was
Yes.
like, I want a praying mantis and I want his arms to be coming up. So we had like our custodian in there cutting this
Oh my gosh, that's
carpet
amazing.
roll and painting it green like a praying mantis. And then we had like a pulley with a rope and he was like pulling the arms up and teaching kids how the praying mantis would catch its prey. And we also had an area with like ladybugs and a meadow with butterflies flying around from the ceiling. And they were hatching butterflies and had an ant farm, like a real live ant farm. So anyways, it was just a fun way of taking learning and making it an experience and turning like their content into life. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was my favorite.
And I
Something
remember-
they'll never forget, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going to her classroom and I was, you were impressive. That
well, thank
was
you.
amazing.
I think each one of us look back at your career and you think about like what would be something that somebody would say would be impressive about you. It would also match up with the story of what did you love doing the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
So true.
what was your favorite thing to do with students? And I think we all have a story of something that we've done with our
Yeah.
kids that we're like, oh, so awesome.
Mhm.
And I think that if you asked other people, like what's something that they did that was awesome, it would probably match up because you
Mhm.
put that passion into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
So true.
Kelsey, you've had so many roles, teacher, librarian, learning coach. Out of all of your experiences, what's a experience that you've had that you've enjoyed bringing learning to life for your students?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I think one of my favorites was scheduling author visits for our students. When I worked as a librarian, I loved bringing stories to life for students and getting them excited about reading. And I remember one of the author visits that I scheduled was with Laura Numeroff, the author
I
of
remember
Yes.
that.
You give
Love
a-
her.
Mouse a Cookie.
Yes.
And everybody in the school dressed up like one of the characters too.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
That was super fun for me because that was some of my favorite books as a kid. So getting to meet her for me was pretty cool. And then being able to purchase some books for students too. was pretty special. So getting them excited about
I think that's
reading.
the best part is you made it happen so the kids not only could meet the author, but they got to like have the book and take it home with them and have it forever.
Yeah, and as a
Fun.
teacher, watching the students just listen to that author, they were just so engaged, weren't they?
Yeah. I remember at the time we were able to have Dojo, and I remember videoing it and pushing it out to my parents, and they were so excited to get to see the author as well. And the looks on their child's faces is like, I got to meet that person. Like it's a celebrity to
And
them.
they got a
Yeah.
book. So
Yeah.
it was just so
Yeah.
cool.
That's a fun memory. Celeste, what's a memory you have of bringing learning to life?
Oh gosh. So it's funny that you asked that because just today I was walking to Kristan's room and I saw something on her door that brought back a flood of memories. And I was just like, oh, it's Antarctica time.
Oh, I love
And
going to Antarctica.
so our math curriculum every January has a unit where you pretend like you go to Antarctica, and the whole purpose is to practice measurement, and you have to measure yourself to see what color suit you're going to wear when you go to Antarctica. And then once you get your suit in the mail, then you're going to go to Antarctica and you have to capture the penguins and measure how tall the penguins are. And you learn about penguins, but you're learning about measurement, but just the joy of bringing that to life. And you actually told kids that you were ordering the suits on Amazon, and they were like, wait, have they come yet? And you're like, not yet. We're waiting, maybe tomorrow. And
And all along you had it planned in your curriculum of like when this when the suits were
and
coming.
then you're like, okay, guys, it's that time. And so you have them all pretend to put on their suits, and you get on the airplane and you get on the boat and you're going to Antarctica, and you show them the video of the penguins.
Oh
and
gosh, yeah, that was
you
awesome.
know, it's just, they remember that. And I even had a student one year who had a family member who was in Antarctica the same time that we were learning about this.
Oh, wow.
And they sent us actual pictures of the penguins from Antarctica.
Oh my
And
gosh,
it was
that's
just
awesome.
like, it's just one of those things where you create this learning experience. It goes along with your curriculum, but it's something that they'll never forget.
Yeah.
So how about you, Kristan?
Well, kind of just a little comment to you, Celeste. Yes, my kids are loving this math unit right now. The penguin that you saw on the door is a king penguin,
How tall is a king penguin?
36 inches, also known as 3 feet, also known as 1 yard.
Oh, look at that math connection. Well done.
All right. So for me, I love the student treasure books where the students become authors. They are also the illustrators, and they create a class book. And last year, funny thing is, we wrote about penguins.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, we did.
So we create the class book. The students learn about writing a story. They learn about editing. They learn about publishing. And the amazing cool part of it all is then parents can purchase a book. And so it's just amazing when it comes in from Student Treasures, and it's kind of like opening an Amazon package. So fun. And the students just are so proud of their work. And I'm just proud of them too. So,
Yeah.
Do you know that one of my students made a comment about it? So our story this week, we were reading a story called Wild Weather, and we listened to the little bit about the author at the beginning in our reading curriculum, and it said that he wrote his first book when he was a second grader. And one of my students said, well, I wrote my first book when I was a first grader. So
That's really
they were
cool.
all
Little
excited.
authors.
Yeah.
We always had those books in the library too. I always
Yes.
purchased a copy, and it was the neatest thing hearing the kids come in and find the books, and they're like, look, this is my page. I'm an author. They were so excited. It was really cute.
Love it so much. So stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we will share more about how we bring books to life and create those memorable moments for our students. All right, listeners on the loose, it's your turn. This week, we're challenging you to share a funny story of when a drill maybe didn't go as planned, or how you bring learning to life for your students.
Yes, and when you share those stories, don't forget to tag us on social media on Instagram at Teachers on the Loose or on X at TeachersOTL, and send us your story. Who knows, we might just feature you in an upcoming episode.
Thanks for tuning in and listening to When Our School. Well, we basically had a pop quiz and got 100% on our fire drill practice, right?
You're welcome.
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
We were just helping you guys out.
That's awesome. Join us next week when we talk about the day a celebrity came to
What?
school.
No way, you're joking.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out.
Teachers on the loose.
I can't wait.
Don't get your hopes up.